Hello, little giblets. We're doing something a little bit different today. I'm joined here with Ryan, who owns the xSCW account, and he placed rank 3 last season. So there's been a little bit of controversy surrounding the top 1 and 2 spots. If you don't know, they're actually owned by the same person, and news has come that it's very likely that he's been win trading himself all the way to the top. And if you want to find some further information on that, I'll just leave it in the link in the description below. So Ryan is the People's Champion and also the Champion of my heart. How you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Great, so can you give us a little bit of background info on who you are and what got you started on playing Clash Royale?
Yeah, sure. So, I play poker for a living and I like video games a lot. So I've played, I don't know, all sorts of like League of Legends and stuff like that. I've mostly been playing a lot of phone games lately because I guess they're less time consuming and like, they're still time consuming, but it's time that like I don't really feel like I'm wasting. Like I can have 5 minutes to kill and do like an attack in Clash of Clans or something like that. Whereas like if I want to play like a game of League of Legends, I have to commit like an hour of my life. It's not really like sucking up like valuable hours for me. But yeah, I mean I played Clash of Clans a ton and I had a lot of fun. And then my friend was like, yeah, they came out with this game called Clash Royale, and he's another poker guy, and he's like, yeah, I think it's actually like pretty deep strategically, and I decided to give it a shot, and it's been a lot of fun.
Cool. Now, we were chatting earlier and you told me that you spent roughly 11,000 USD on the game. What made you decide to want to spend what I imagine the price of a small human child to cost on this game?
Yeah, so like I was playing and like as I was ranking up, there would be like cards that I didn't get, so it's like alright, like I'll throw some money in and get some boxes. So like I opened some boxes and from there like I would get to a point like I think I got up to like level 10. Like there's a lot of guys in like the top like 100 or whatever that are level 10. So I did that and then like I was only losing to like level 11 people, and like at that point I was like kind of plateaued because like I knew it was going to be really expensive if I wanted to just gem to max. If I didn't gem, I was pretty sure I was just going to get stuck like where I was, I don't know, I mean, I was still ranked like pretty high, like 20, but like, I mean, it's a lot more desirable to be like rank 1 than like rank 20. I thought about it for a while, like, you know, like it's really stupid to spend all this money, and then like, I actually pondered for like a couple days on this, and then like, after a while I was like, alright, like whatever, I was like, if I keep waking up and I'm thinking about like whether or not I should do this, I was like, I really just don't give a shit. It's not like I would wake up and be like, oh shit, like I lost like 10K in poker or something like that. Like I'd just be fine and move on with my life. So I was like, well, whatever, fuck it, I'll just splurge and I would just go for it and commit. I don't have too many regrets. It's been fun, and like I think being level 12 lets you play like a lot more competitively, and I think I'll have a lot of fun playing this game for the next like several years. So I'll get lots of entertainment value out of it.
Right, so walk us through your thought process behind building a deck. Like, for example, do you look at what the other top players are using and you want to counter that, or are you looking at the patch notes and seeing what might be strong in the season?
I actually do both. I think a lot of people just aren't open-minded enough about cards. For example, like Bomb Tower I think is a viable card. I mean, if it fits your play, I think it's usable, but like, for me personally, I think there's just better choices. I think Bomb Tower is a card that's like, it's probably in the upper like 50% of cards, but like for the role it does, there's just better choices that cost less mana. But then like if you look at a card like Musketeer, a lot of people were bitching like crazy saying like Musketeer got nerfed, but like I used Musketeer for a lot of games last season, and I mean Musketeer worked really well for me. It's like 1 more mana than archers and it gets a lot more done. But I think a lot of people were trying to use it as like, Jesus, I don't know, like some hard counter for units that it just wasn't good against. I think for 4 cost, that card is actually really good. And now that they're buffing its damage by that much, I think it's going to be a really sick card. I think it's going to be overpowered. For building the deck, yeah, basically I try to pick cards that I think hard counter some other card. Like, for example, like Tombstone, before they nerfed it, was a card that I think should have been in every single deck. I mean, even if you can just redirect their troops towards the middle, like, just them losing that pathing is something that's really valuable. And then also, like, there's a hard counter for Hog. You could drop it and completely stop the Hog from doing damage, and it costs 3 elixir versus something that's 4, so I mean, that's really effective. And then versus Prince, you could stop that for 3 elixir versus 5. And I mean, there are just lots of things like that, or like, even if you got like a golem coming in and you don't want it like going straight up to your Inferno, like, you could drop the Inferno and then put the tombstone like a little closer to the golem, so the golem actually walks away from the inferno. And a lot of stuff like that was just super effective.
I think that there are a lot of balancing issues that could still be implemented for this game to be completely legit. And speaking of balancing issues, is there anything that you could see improved in this game?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the ladder issues. I mean, that's the one that impacts me the most, so it's, of course, the first thing I'd think of. But, I mean, it's really ridiculous that you've got dudes that are just, like, blatantly cheating to climb the ladder. Supercell's just like, alright, whatever, so far. I'd imagine it's something they have to address. Like, there's some people where they're like, no, like, you spent $20,000 on this game, like, there's no way Supercell will do anything. Like, Supercell makes millions of dollars every day off of Clash of Clans. They're not gonna, like, tarnish the sanctity of their game that they've worked so hard on because there's one guy who spent, like, what's the equivalent of, like, a drop in a bucket on them.
Yeah, absolutely. I do hope they address that in the future so we can see you at the #1 spot. And that's going to be it for the Q&A. We're just going to jump into one of Ryan's games now where he's going to give us some play-by-play commentary.
Alright, sweet. Alright, so this dude's a level lower than me, so I mean, I'm at like a pretty big advantage to start, but anyways, I open with Spear Goblins, which is standard to me, and this dude throws down a Prince, and I have like the worst cards possible right there for countering the Prince. Like, the archers don't do much because they just die in one hit, so it's basically like just punting off 3 elixir. So it actually leaves me in a really sick spot that I didn't have like my cannon or my inferno there to deal with it. So I took a ton of damage, and like my first thought is like, oh shit, like I'm actually gonna lose this match. And anyways, like, at this point I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna recover. I know that I have to save something for that Prince in the future. Cannon getting lightning down just isn't really a big deal, but him using that lightning puts him at a huge deficit for elixir, so that's why I plow in with a hog and I throw in the Spear Goblins behind. I know there's just not really much you can do to defend at that point. I think him using that elixir like prematurely for the lightning was just a big mistake. Like, he could have just saved up elixir and that cannon would have slowly died and he could have lightning something that was like actually valuable. So I think that was a pretty major mistake on his part. And at this point, like, I'm maxing out on elixir and I don't really have that good of offensive cards, so I decide to throw down the Inferno. He does the same, and I basically decide that since I'm maxing on elixir again, it's time to lightning that Inferno. Sometimes I'll just play defensive and ignore it, but this is a game where, since I'm actually losing my tower, I have to do something kind of aggressive. And then him using that archer volley there is actually just pretty terrible. Like, there's no way it's going to kill it. That does very little damage, and when I have 300 health, that's like nothing. And then here he makes a huge mistake, basically just piling up all those pieces, like, as my hog is coming in. Like, that's way too many small units to put on top of each other, and like, I think for a smart player, they're almost always going to have a spell ready as their hog is coming in. So that was something that was just really poorly thought out. Like, if I'm going to defend against that, like, I'm going to spread my units as far as possible. And here he does the archer volley again, which is a huge, huge mistake. And I realize at this point that, basically, like, he's going to have to use quite a bit of elixir to take that down. And, this game is, like, pretty much locked up. Like, I just go on, like, an all-out offensive, because there's no way he's going to be able to adequately defend this tower and still be able to expend the elixir it takes to kill my building over there. So, this game's pretty much locked up at this point. So he lightnings it down, but I mean, like, using 6 elixir lightning to kill the 11 health building is really, really inefficient. So there's not a whole lot that's going to happen, and basically I just plow here for fun.
Easiest game of your life.
Easiest, for sure. Yeah, that beginning, though, is like definitely a big, like, oh shit moment for me, because
Right.
with that hog and the prince coming in and me not having the troops down to defend it, like, that was very, very concerning.
So thanks so much to Ryan for joining us today.
Problem.
Next video is going to be a show match where I play against Ryan in a best of 3, which I'm really excited to show you guys. And we're going to find out if Ryan can put his money where his mouth is. So follow Ryan on his YouTube channel, which I'll leave in the description below, and also on his Twitch, where he streams Clash Royale and poker sometimes as well, where you can see him winning absurd amounts of money. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.